Well, hello there.
Hello.
How was that nap?
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
It's long enough.
Hello,
Nate Reed,
how you doing, Dre?
man, I'm doing great, man. It's
Good.
it's Monday.
Yes.
It's been a day.
Manic Monday.
Manic Monday.
Mm-hmm.
We made it through Manic Monday though.
Barely.
Some of us made it. All right, we got a couple more people we're waiting on, then we're gonna get started. All right, there's third person. All right.
Oh, wait a minute.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm signed in as the wrong person.
You gonna log off and log back in?
Yeah, I'm signed off as the NAACP. Let me get off of here.
Okay. I mean, you can represent the NAACP.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's all good.
It's okay.
It's
Just-
okay.
It's good for me.
Well, let me
I
get
have no
off though. I
problems.
don't want them to do an audit and they're like, "What are you doing?" So
Okay.
let me get off.
I understand.
Totally understand. Miss Anita, can you hear us?
Good evening.
Good
Can you hear
evening.
me?
Good evening.
Yes, we can.
I'm trying to work my camera, but I am here.
We're gonna let Miss Janita log back on under her personal Zoom. Miss Anita, how was your day today?
You know, it's been busy but productive, and I feel great.
Operative word, productive.
hmm
Anytime you can be productive, it's a great day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With a little bit of balance, I was able to finish and walk around with Charlie, my dog, and
Oh yeah,
so I
that's
had
good.
some balance with
It
it. It's
turned out to
good.
feel great outside today. It was cold this morning.
Yeah, I was walking around with a turtleneck on. That is true.
It was cold this morning. Getting out the car in that
I was
wild.
fortunate enough to work from home this morning,
Oh
today.
yeah. Oh, so you didn't even have to feel the brisk air.
No, not this morning. I actually did go out and get some lunch.
Oh, okay. So it was
Yeah.
feeling pretty good then by then.
Yeah. By then it was nice.
Yeah. All right. So it looks like Miss Williams is on now. All right. So let me start by introducing and giving a quick rundown. Of course, everybody knows me by Dre. Um, so this real quick, this is a vision perspective. Um, we will cast vision for a high school in this meeting. Why we are here, that's why we're here, to cast vision. I have given each one of you an agenda. We will move through this pretty quickly. And so I'll just kind of be the guide for the meeting, so to speak, and let you all be the voices. And as you all become the voices, I will be the note taker. Um, and if you have any questions about what we're doing, feel free to jump in. This is an open mic type deal. We are not in school, so don't raise your hand. So real quick, if everybody can just introduce yourself. I'll start with myself. My name is Dre Taborn. I am a special education teacher at Lovelady High School in Princeton ISD. And we'll go in the order of I see on my screen. We will go with Rachel, Nate, Anita, and then Janita.
I'm Rachel Meyer. I am also a special education teacher at Lovelady High School.
Sorry about that. I was receiving calls while I was on here. I'm using my cell phone right now. My name's Nate Reed. I work with the Behavioral Health Division for Texas Health Resources.
Good evening. My name is Anita Williams, and I work mainly with operations in the healthcare sector.
Ms. Williams?
Hello, I'm Janita Williams and I work for AT&T.
All right. Thank you all. So I invited each of you to this call today because you each bring a unique perspective to education, whether you have a student that is a current student in high school, you have leadership skills, um, you are a teacher, Ms. Byer, or you have great networking abilities, or you bring something unique to the field of vision casting. You have the ability to come together and work with others and strategically plan for the future. And so I appreciate each one of you for being a part of my success as I continue on to move towards graduating in the near future. So the importance of vision. Why is vision important? And am going to move along the agenda that I've given all of you. So the importance of vision. Vision acts as kind of like the North Star. It's the strategic compass for any organization, a business, a church, religious organization, school district. Vision acts um, as the compass for any organization. And so anytime you have a vision, it kind of acts as the North Star. That's the goal of what we're all looking to work towards. So it's kind of like we look out of the same lens and we're all pulling in the same direction. And so acting as the North Star, even during periods of chaos, crisis, and transition, the vision acts as that guiding light. So that's the importance of vision. So you have to have vision. Biblically, you have to have clarity with vision. Without vision, you perish as an organization, as a people. And so that's the importance of vision. Uh, and so, real quick, you all also have a couple of the items in your hand. You have a sheet with a list of schools on it that has their vision and mission statements. On that sheet of paper, before we dive into that sheet of paper, you can flip that paper over to the back, and you can. We're going to do a real quick activity. Um, 3 words, and this will guide our vision. 3 words. Okay. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to come up with 3 words. Okay. It's 4 years from now, and you have a student that is thriving, a high school student that is thriving. What is 3 words that you would use to describe that student? Let's take a couple minutes. 3 words to describe that student. It's 4 years from now, and you have a student that is thriving. What 3 words would you use to describe that student? I'm doing the exercise as well. So All right, when you're done, just let me know in the chat. You can let me know in the chat when you're finished. All right, so let's go in backwards order this time. So let's go with Janita, then Anita, Nate, then Rachel, and then I will go.
Okay, the 3 words I picked for the student is successful, adventurous, and curious. Most people that are thriving, especially when they're successful in learning, uh, they are really curious, and they're curious in learning more, and they're adventurous because they're willing to put themselves out there and take on more, is what I've seen.
It's great. Love it.
My 3 words were motivated, ambitious, tenacious, kind of for the reason of to see that they're thriving now. You got to have something in you that's saying, okay, I'm gonna keep moving. The ambition, just kind of pushing past any kind of trials. I believe that school has its own challenges, so I think that that tenacity also to keep pushing forward.
All right.
And my 3 words were like Anita. I chose motivate for the same reasons, for that they are definitely are dedicated, loyal, sticking in with the task at hand, trying to do well. They're succeeding. Second one, driven. No, I changed it. I'm so sorry. Teachable. They're teachable, which is very important in the workforce, because I'd rather have someone that's teachable than that knows everything, and or at least thinks they know everything. And last one is adaptable, because in this day and age, so much change is happening and it's inevitable. So a person that's adaptable and can to change is always in a good spot.
Love it.
So I also use successful, productive, and potential, because I think that kids, when they're productive and they start to live up to their potential and they show that they're successful, and then, that in turn, they see their own potential.
I like that. So I chose intelligent, mature, and evolving. Um, they shows a certain level of intelligence to matriculate through school, and walk across the stage, which includes a certain level of maturity. Um, Throughout school, as a school teacher, you see them evolve. You see them change on a daily basis. You see them change from year to year, especially as a teacher, as an administrator. When they come into high school, you see them start ninth grade and leave, start ninth grade looking one way, in 12th grade looking another way. The little scrawny kid in ninth grade graduates 6'3", you know, big kid in the 12th grade. They evolve. So those are my 3 words. And so thinking about this whole list that we had, successful showed up twice, motivated showed up twice. A couple people used the terms keep moving, kept moving, productive, potential, ambitious, So those are the kinds of things that you think about when you're casting vision. When you want to write a vision statement, write a mission statement for an organization or a school like ours, you want to think about those things that you want to see for the future. So use these words, these terms as our guiding post when we're writing our vision, because our vision becomes the North Star. what our kids are working towards. So on that same sheet of paper that you just wrote on, you see a list of schools. You see Lovelady High School, J.J. Pierce High School, Harmony Science Academy in Carrollton, and McKinney High School. And each of these schools have a vision statement and or a mission statement. And so these schools have been compared. Their vision statement and mission statement have been taken and looked at. And in the comment section on the very end of the page, you see kind of how it's been broken down. Where, for instance, we'll take a look at Lovelady. In the comment section, they don't have an individual vision statement for LHS. They don't have a vision statement at all for the district, but they have a mission statement for the district. So that's their guiding post. It's a mission statement for the district as a whole. It's a smaller district, but the district does well with this mission statement in regards to each of their students. But if you look down towards the bottom, the third one, Harmony Science Academy, they have a mission and vision statement. Harmony's vision is to lead our students from the classroom into the world as productive and responsible citizens. While their mission on a daily basis is to prepare each and every student for college. And so doing so, the vision drives what the mission will do. So the vision is the North Star and the mission gets you there, so to speak. And so taking a quick look at this, you kind of see what a vision statement kind of looks like. And so to kind of meet the expectation of what we have in front of us today, we have a school focus, kind of school culture, school focus thing to help us create vision for the school that I will potentially run. And so the last document you have, it's a table, and it covers several different areas. And so we'll look at these areas pretty briefly, individually, and then we'll come together collectively to create a vision statement. And then we'll be done. Okay, so we're looking at this document here. All right. So it says, in the future, what I want to see, hear, and feel that will make my school a high-performing school. So the first area is school culture. This is the personality of the school. What's valued, celebrated, rewarded, and how people interact, communicate, and grow professionally. So think about your own individual experiences in your own line of work. What does culture look like to you when you walk into a place of business? And kind of just jot down notes in the section next to that space so that you can kind of keep those things in mind as we move forward. The personality of a school, personality of a business, what does it look like? What's valued in that place? Who's celebrated, what's rewarded, how people interact. For instance, in schools, how teachers interact with teachers, how students interact with students, and how do people communicate and grow professionally? Is there camaraderie? Is there professional development that takes place often? So how do we want to how do we see that in a place when we walk into a school? I know for educators, it is definitely a great sign of school culture when you see teachers interacting with students outside of the classroom. So in the hallways, before school starts, after school ends, when you see teachers having conversations with students, it gives a good indicator. That's a great indicator that the school culture at that school is really good, because a lot of times Students don't like interacting with teachers. If they're not teaching them, they don't want to talk to them. So if you see students talking to teachers without them in the classroom, sitting down in front of them, that's a good indicator that there's great culture there. The second thing is curriculum. So think about, as I said, some of you have children in school. Curriculum, what is taught in the school, how curriculum is defined, organized, managed, supported, and assessed. So what's taught in particular schools? A big thing that we have discussed recently is financial planning for students that matriculate through high school. How do you transition them from high school knowing how to manage money effectively, knowing how to have daily living skills, knowing how to manage a home, knowing how to do things that they just have to do on a regular daily basis without any assistance or without somebody having to redirect them to do said things. So what type of curriculum does that look like? We know they have to have their core subjects, math, science, English, and social studies. Does it look like more trade school opportunities for students, such as cosmetology and construction and things of that sort? Or does it look like you want to send more kids to college, such as the Harmony Science Academy with their vision and mission? They want to prepare each and every student for college. So some schools operate from that. But if you take a look at the vision and mission statement for McKinney schools, they just want to invest in the future and having a safe environment to engage and educate and empower every student. Doesn't mention anything about college. And so what kind of curriculum would you offer for students? And then thirdly, the instruction. How students are being taught by the environment, processes, resources, tools, assessments, settings, and supports. What would you offer the students as ways of learning? Would it be offered, just as the lecture format where teachers are just standing and teaching, or would you implement a lot of technology? We live in a day and time of technology. What type of environment would you like the teaching environment to be like? Would you like your students to, be in a college prep environment where they sit in kind of an auditorium style, or just a regular classroom with desk and a whiteboard? I am a big advocate for flexible seating for students. The more comfortable they are, the more likely they will be comfortable and pay attention to you. All right, and then the fourth thing is effectiveness. This is the overall physical and social emotional conditions that permeate the building and impact the quality of teaching and learning. So this is not school culture, but this is kind of like the climate of the school. This is what you feel like every day going to work. This is this is kind of how you would feel going in. Do you dread walking into the building? Or do you say, okay, I get to go into a building today and effect change? Do you like your coworkers? That's part of the climate, Do you like the people that you work with? So, do you like the community relationships that you have? All right, and two more sections. Student support is the degree to which the school is student-centered, where all students are valued and supported and receive time and resources to grow academically, physically, and socially, emotionally. So those are the three main areas that schools attempt to touch students on: academically, physically, and socially, emotionally. Um, those are really three big target areas. And then we always want to look at continuous improvement. How can we be better? The intentional processes and practices that we put in place so that that we improve. Because nothing and no one is perfect. We can always do better. We don't write goals. We don't write objectives to achieve 100%. We always leave room for improvement. And so at the end of the day, we look at ourselves and we say, what are opportunities for improvement? And so when we finish looking at this document, we want to be able to use this statement, this blanket statement. Our school exists so that blank can do this to become blank. So that's like a sample, a blanket vision statement. So we exist so that, if we look back at McKinney High School, they have a really simple vision every student, every day. If it's something that simple, that is great. So given these areas, feel free to kind of give input and hopefully we can flesh out something that can be successful.
So Dre, I'm not in education,
Mhm,
but if I thought of things that would be important to
mhm.
me, I wonder how do schools do um, kind of tailor more of their curriculum? Kind of like what you mentioned, everybody doesn't learn the same way, everybody doesn't want to learn the same things. I love that piece about the financial. Um, when we went to school, we had FHA, FFA, so we learned how to manage a household. And I don't think people have that as much today.
Yeah.
So, would there be some kind of way to allow people to kind of like when you go to college, you have to do an assessment to kind of see where you are, where your interests lie. Where
So
do you
that,
even need some honing in?
yeah, so that could be definitely part of the effectiveness part, like assessing the students to see where they are. It's kind of like the military, for instance, they use the ASVAB, right, to gauge where you are in your interest. And from the ASVAB, they tell you, okay, this may be a great field to go into that you might want to be interested in. So that may be a good idea to kind of build into the plan. A model for a school is, okay, let's come up with some kind of assessment to see what your interests are so that we can put you on a pathway versus giving you a pathway and saying, okay, this is your 4-year course plan, this is what you have to do. So I kind of like that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that's a really good idea. One of the things that I wrote down is something that we I heard a lot at a previous school was with students, we meet them where they are. You
Meet them
know,
where they are. Yeah.
we can't make a student be any better than they are at the current moment. We have to meet them where they are and then challenge them to rise up. And so I think that kind of plays into that, like trying to find out what their interests are. You know, we let these kids come into high school and a lot of them have no idea what their interests are. And so they just pick random electives and get thrown in and then, they spend a whole year in an elective with it's not something that they're ever going to use. Whereas if we had some kind of like of a test to see what they're good at, see what they're more interested in, we could guide them into those pathways where we could, that gives us
So
a little more as far as curriculum goes. We could figure out better curriculum for them that will interest them and put them in a place where they can learn more like real world skills for those types of settings, like the financial planning and more kind of not necessarily trade programs, but just programs that will help them, give them more experience so that they have a little better idea of when I go out into the real world, this is the kind of thing, if I want to do this job, this is the kind of thing I'm going to be looking at that I have to work on and I have to do and be able to do.
I like that. So kind of like the assessment leads to targeted instruction
Right,
versus just, hey, you're coming to high school. So not necessarily a STEM school, but having
right.
an assessment to just so that we target the instruction for this student and put them on said pathway.
Right. I mean, like for instance, the student that I have that's extremely into art and is a very, draws very well. That's a student that when if I was to do an assessment, I would set him on a path where he's taking a lot more art classes. Whereas if I have a student who's really good at, at home he cooks and he's really good at cooking and wants to do more of that kind of things and maybe wants to work in a restaurant as a cook, then I would set him on a path where he's not going into art class, but going into culinary class, not in band, but in culinary classes where that fits his idea a little better and his what he wants to do a little better.
Totally love it. I love it. That assessment piece will be essential when they enter into high school
Hmm.
versus just having counselors go see them in middle school and say, hey, what do you want to take in high school?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Any other feedback, suggestions?
Yeah, I love all that you just said. I honestly would love to see an opportunity for kids where some of these major corporations are really kind of like how they recruit these kids for sports, to be able to notice these kids that have the high grades, that are really motivated. These
Mhm.
kids are already getting scholarships to go to school and stuff. I'd love to see these companies be able to invest in programs within the high school to be able to retain those kids for their own company, which of course creates opportunities for those kids.
So that's I like that idea too.
Hmm.
So you could have something like where, let's say if it was, right here in DFW, we have Ryan Media.
Yeah,
Ryan Media can
right,
come in and we have kids that are interested in, like media, news production, anything to do with media.
right,
Ryan Media can come in and make an investment in those students. And that way that
right,
student has a path, not only a pathway, but they
right.
have an opportunity when they leave high school, maybe through scholarship to college or internships or whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, imagine a company like Texas Instruments was willing to set up a shop at one of the high schools and teach these kids how to put those electronics together. And they come right out making, 60, 75,000 the first year as an 18-year-old, not
yeah,
even having to go to school because you've already learned a trade.
yeah,
So
yeah,
anyway, that I think that more of that stuff is needed in school
yeah,
because again, not everybody wants to go to school for
yeah.
4 years or longer.
So we're
I would
talking
love to see
about
that.
so we're talking about, and I'm thinking of a vision as you all are talking. An assessment leads us to targeted instruction, but that targeted instruction leads down many different pathways, not just whether you go to
Yes.
college or whether you go into this trade or that trade, but it's a it's a buffet of
Right.
options on the
Right.
table.
Right.
I, I like that. I like that. I really like that. That's pretty good. Um, so this is all good stuff. So I have one thing to ask that everybody take a picture of their notes and whatever they jotted down throughout the meeting, and you can send them to me via email, and I will make sure that it's all compiled into one main document, and I will get our vision statement put together, and I will reply to all of you with said vision statement, and hopefully it becomes something great. And I'll be, as a future principal, here in the DFW area, I can put it into action. So once again, thank y'all for being a part of my success. I really appreciate y'all.
You're
Thank you for
welcome.
the invite.
Thank
All the
y'all.
best.
Y'all have a
Thank
great,
you.
y'all have a
Yes.
great night. I appreciate all of you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.